Have you ever noticed? Your mind gets the loudest exactly when you want it to be quiet? You're lying in bed at night. The lights are off. Your body is tired. You just want to sleep. But suddenly, your brain starts talking. It reminds you of something embarrassing you said 5 years ago. It makes you replay a conversation from earlier today. It starts asking questions like, what if you made the wrong decision? What if people are judging you? What if your whole life doesn't go the way you planned? And now, instead of sleeping, you're stuck inside your own head. Here's the weird part. You didn't choose to think about any of this. It just happened. So let me ask you something important. If you're not choosing these thoughts, then who is? And more importantly, why does your mind never stop? Because most people think the problem is simple. They say, I just overthink too much. But what if that's not the real problem? What if your mind isn't broken? What if it's just doing exactly what it was designed to do? Let's go deeper. Your brain has one main job. Not happiness, not peace, not confidence. Its main job is survival. That's it. Thousands of years ago, your brain helped you stay alive by constantly scanning for danger. Is there a threat nearby? Is something about to go wrong? Do I need to prepare for something bad? The humans who thought more survived more. So over time, the brain evolved to think constantly. Now here's where things get interesting. Back then, the dangers were real. Wild animals, hunger, physical threats. But today, most of those dangers are gone. You're not being chased. You're not fighting for survival. But your brain hasn't updated. So instead of scanning for physical danger, it scans for psychological danger. What if I fail? What if they don't like me? What if I'm not good enough? And suddenly, your thoughts become your biggest source of stress. This is where overthinking is born. But here's something most people don't realize. Your mind is not just thinking, it's addicted to thinking. Let me explain. Every time you overanalyze something, every time you replay a situation, every time you imagine a worst-case scenario, your brain feels like it's doing something important. It feels productive. It feels like control, even if it's making you anxious. So your brain rewards this behavior. And anything your brain rewards, it repeats. That's how overthinking becomes automatic. Now let's make this real. Imagine you send a message to someone. They don't reply for a few hours. At first, it's nothing. Then your mind starts, did I say something wrong? Are they ignoring me? Did I annoy them? Now your mood changes. Your energy drops. You feel uneasy. But what actually happened? Nothing. No real problem exists, only thoughts. But your brain treats those thoughts like reality. And this is where everything changes. Your brain does not care if a thought is true. It only cares if you react to it. The moment you react emotionally, your brain goes, this is important. Save this. Repeat this. And now you've trained your mind to overthink. That's why your mind never stops. Not because it's powerful, but because it's practiced. Now here's the biggest mistake people make. They try to stop their thoughts. They say things like, I need to clear my mind. I need to stop thinking. I just want silence. But the harder you try, the worse it gets. Let me show you why. Don't think about a red car. Seriously. Don't. What happened? You immediately imagined it. That's exactly how your brain works. It doesn't understand don't. It only understands focus. So when you say, I don't want to think about this, your brain hears, think about this. And it does. This is why people feel stuck, because they're fighting their own mind. And you can't win a fight against something inside you. So if you can't stop thinking, what's the solution? This is the part most people never learn. You don't stop thoughts. You stop believing them. Let that sink in. Not every thought you have is true. Not every thought matters. Not every thought deserves your attention. But right now, you treat every thought like it's important. And that's why your mind is so loud. Let's change perspective. Imagine your thoughts are like notifications on your phone. Some are useful. Most are not. Now imagine if you opened every single notification. Instantly, every message, every alert, every random app, you'd go insane. That's exactly what you're doing in your mind. Every thought shows up, and you open it. You read it. You react to it. You get emotionally involved, and your brain learns. Keep sending more. Now imagine something different. A thought shows up. What if I fail? Instead of reacting, you just notice it. Oh, that's a thought. And you move on. No reaction, no emotion, no story. At first it feels strange because you're used to engaging, but slowly. Something powerful happens. Your thoughts start losing their control over you because they're no longer getting attention, and attention is what feeds them. Now here's where it gets even deeper. Your mind runs on patterns. If you worry often, your brain gets better at worrying. If you doubt yourself often, it becomes automatic. If you overthink often, it becomes your default mode. Your brain is like a muscle. It strengthens what you use the most. So if your mind never stops thinking, it's not a flaw, it's training. You've trained your brain without realizing it. But here's the good news. Anything trained can be retrained. Not by force, but by awareness. Let's go back to real life. Think about how often you check your phone. At first, it was a choice. Now, you don't even think about it. You just do it. That's exactly how overthinking works. It became a habit. So breaking it won't feel natural at first. But it is possible. And it starts with one simple shift. You stop identifying with your thoughts. Instead of saying, I am anxious, you start noticing, I am having an anxious thought. That small difference changes everything. Because now, you're not inside the thought. You're observing it. And when you observe something, you gain control over it. Not by force, but by distance. Now let's talk about something very important. Silence in your mind does not mean zero thoughts. That's unrealistic. Even the calmest people think. The difference is, they don't get pulled into every thought. They let thoughts come and go, like background noise, like cars passing on a road. Still there, but no longer controlling them. And this changes your entire life. Because when your mind becomes quieter, you become more present. You enjoy moments more. You react less. You feel lighter. Not because your life became perfect, but because your mind stopped making everything a problem. Now here's the truth nobody tells you. Your mind will never completely stop thinking. But it doesn't need to. Peace doesn't come from having no thoughts. It comes from not being controlled by them. And once you understand that, everything shifts. So the next time your mind starts racing at night, or you start overthinking something small, don't fight it, don't panic. Just pause and tell yourself, this is just my brain trying to protect me. And then take a step back, watch your thoughts, let them come, let them go, without reacting, without judging, without attaching meaning, and slowly, you'll notice something. The noise starts fading, not instantly, but gradually, and in that space, between you and your thoughts, you'll finally feel something rare. Calm. Because your mind was never the enemy. It was just misunderstood. And once you stop trying to control it and start understanding it, you don't just quiet your thoughts. You take your power back, and that's the moment. Your mind finally stops controlling you.